Hi, everyone. Welcome to Laser Talk. As the saying goes, there's a never dull moment in CCP politics. Um, how's everyone doing? Good? Good start of the week? Excellent. Okay, good. All right, let's say China's military has been imploding faster than anyone expected, and the signs are everywhere. Just 1 week ago, the downfall of He Weidong, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, sent shockwaves through social media. That moment set off a domino effect, and this week, even more heads have rolled inside the PLA. Reports now say that Xi Jinping's newly appointed Rocket Force commander, along with the commander of the Eastern Theater Command, the man Xi Jinping personally entrusted to lead military operations against Taiwan, have also been taken down. What we're seeing now is a violent implosion of the Chinese military from within. Generals are being arrested, units are thrown into disarray, and the power struggle between pro-war and anti-war factions has taken a dramatic turn. Strangely, Xi Jinping now appears to be on the anti-war side, while his rivals are the ones pushing for war. And the reason behind this reversal is something few people could have imagined. So, what exactly is going on behind the scenes, and why is Xi Jinping suddenly backing away from war? Let me give you the real story behind China's military implosion and explains why the PLA's uh, behavior on the world stage is becoming increasingly provocative. So we'll first talk about the status of the new Rocket Force commander, followed by the status of the commander of the Eastern Theater Command, and then we'll talk about the Xi versus anti-Xi forces and how they are embroiled in a struggle over Taiwan. Last but not least, this is the most important part of the talk. Why is the PLA more dangerous now than ever? Okay, let's get into it. The downfall of the new commander of the Rocket Force. The Rocket Force is no ordinary unit. It's responsible for China's strategic missile arsenal, including nuclear weapons, and the military branch was established by Xi Jinping himself. It's arguably the most elite branch of the PLA. After purging 3 commanders of the Rocket Force in 2023, she promoted former deputy naval commander Wang Houbing to lead the elite troops in July 2023. This cross-service promotion surprised many because the Rocket Force is a highly technical military unit, and people expected Xi to promote someone from within the Rocket Force. Well, the reason Wang Houbing got the job was his close relations with the PLA head of political work, Admiral Miao Hua. Both Miao and Wang came from the Navy. Okay, let me share with you some pictures, just in case you want to match. So here's Mr. Zhao Lanjian, who broke this news, which has been confirmed by more than half dozen sources saying that He Weidong has been down. So here's Wang Houbing 2 years ago when he was promoted to general. Here's Miao Hua. Okay, so let me make this smaller. Let me go back to maybe to Wang Houbing. So sorry, it's just a distraction. My computer keeps making noises. So let's talk about let's talk about what this means, right? So excuse me. And the the let's first talk about the Miao Hua's downfall, right? Miao Hua was announced. I mean, the rumors about Miao's downfall came about early last fall, and then by wintertime, his downfall was confirmed. And since then, it's been what, a couple of months, yeah. And General Wang is now in trouble. The two of them were working together when they were in the Navy. Now, on March 24th, on March 25th, the Chinese journalist Zhao Lanjian reported on X that, sorry, let me see. where, here's a picture of him. There we go. I'm just trying to match faces. He said that Wang Houbing was arrested when he was in the office in the rocket force. And then he also said that not only Wang Houbing was arrested, the administrative assistant for Xi Jinping, Fang Yongxiang, now let me show you a picture of him. There we go. Was also arrested. And now Fang Yongxiang has only been in position for, he was promoted into the director of the general office of the CMC. He was promoted into that position in September last year. And so, yeah, so according to Mr. Zhao, he has also been dismissed from the position. So he's considered Xi Jinping's top admin in the military. Fang recently accompanied Xi Jinping on a tour in Yunnan and Guizhou, which many observers say was a farewell tour for Xi Jinping. Now, Fang is also from Fujian and came from Xi Jinping's 31st Group Army in Fujian. He has only been in position since last fall, and his dismissal also sent shockwaves through the system because it indicates Xi Jinping's grip over the military is gone. But that was only the beginning. Mr. Zhao revealed that between March 13th and March 23rd, which is only 10 days, the PLA underwent a massive new wave of purges. Over 100 senior officers were dealt with in this round alone, and between 100 to 200 officers at the corps level and above were dismissed or reassigned. These purges touched multiple branches, showing that the entire military hierarchy is now under siege. And he said, this is a brutal factional struggle within the CCP. It's escalated into a life and death power struggle. So that's what Mr. Zhao said about the commander, about the new rocket force commander. Now, on the same day, another China expert who has connections with the CCP leadership, Mr. Cai Shengkun, shared that General Ling Xiangyang, the commander of the Eastern Theater Command, had also been arrested. And he was arrested 3 days after He Weidong, the vice chairman of the CMC, reportedly left the hospital where he was treated for heart conditions. Remember when they arrested him, he had a sudden heart condition, maybe a heart attack. And then so he was sent to the military hospital in Beijing. And then he has left the hospital and started, has been, the formal investigation or interrogation of him has started on March 21st. And 3 days after that, General Ling Xiangyang is reportedly arrested. Now, General Ling, let me show you a picture of him. This is Mr. Cai, and this is General Ling. General Ling was the top PLA leader in charge of Taiwan operations, the man who would lead any invasion effort. Mr. Cai's source claimed that Ling, who was once a protege of He Weidong, was taken away in the afternoon of March 24th. That was yesterday. And it wasn't the first time General Ling's name had surfaced in this context. Back in last November, when Miao Hua was suspended, rumors spread that General Ling had also been taken away for investigation. In December, there were reports that Ling's home in Xiamen was searched. There were even rumors that Ling had attempted suicide. People suspected that he would be in trouble, and it was only a matter of time. Now, General Ling appeared briefly. Actually, I shouldn't say briefly because he actually made a speech. He appeared on March 14th. His last appearance was March 14th at the symposium marking the 20th anniversary of the anti-secession law. He actually made a fiery speech about Taiwan there. Just days later, he's gone. And the reason? You wouldn't believe this. According to Mr. Tsai, his arrest and possibly that of He Weidong is tied to leaking Taiwan war plans. Okay, the person in charge of military operations against Taiwan is accused of leaking war plans against Taiwan. So him and his mentor, He Weidong, were deeply involved in designing China's strategy for a Taiwan invasion. Mr. Tsai said, "We still don't know to whom the plans were leaked, but beyond any leaks," he said, another underlying issue is political loyalty. So in Xi Jinping's system, loyalty outweighs competence. But the very people he trusted, the ones responsible for Taiwan attacks, are now exhibiting loyalty problems. And like He Weidong, Lin Xiangyang rose through the ranks quickly. He was promoted to lieutenant general in 2020 and was promoted again to a full general in 2021. And in the PLA, it normally takes about 3 years to be promoted to a higher rank. So Lin was promoted from lieutenant general to general in just 1 year. That only happens when he has Xi Jinping's full trust and support. But this trust is now crumbling. Some believe that this isn't just Xi Jinping purging disloyalty. It's a coup-like move from within the system. And it's evident that Zhang Youxia has teamed up with political elders and rival factions to completely wipe out Xi Jinping's military allies. Because if you look at every general that has been associated with some kind of rumors, whether confirmed or not confirmed, about their downfall, they're all associated with Xi Jinping, and they most likely came from the Fujian-based 31st Army Group Army. You can watch my program called Chairman Zhang, which was from last week, for more details on Zhang Youxia's latest moves. So for a while, Zhang Youxia maintained a facade to display a peaceful coexistence with Xi Jinping. Now, this facade is shattered. The mask is lifted. So we're seeing a full-blown one-size-fits-all purge of Xi Jinping's followers, arrest or removal, nothing in between. So this is no longer a purge. It's a military system. It's about a military system that's tearing itself apart from the inside. If you look at it, the rocket force, China's core strategic deterrent, is now without a leader. And Wang Houbin is the fourth rocket force commander that has been taken down in the past 2 years. And the Eastern Theater Command, in charge of a Taiwan invasion, has lost its commander. Key war plans may have been leaked or compromised, with no clarity on who accessed them. And Xi Jinping's inner circles in the military, Wang Houbin, Lin Xiangyang, He Weidong, and Miao Hua, are either arrested, missing, or under investigation. And even his administrative assistant in the military, Fang Yongxiang, has also been abruptly dismissed. So this isn't isolated, it's coordinated and systemic. The fact that so many of these men were handpicked by Xi Jinping and rose through the ranks at lightning speed due to their personal loyalty makes this implosion not just a military crisis, but a personal political disaster for Xi Jinping. The CCP's military is in a free fall, and the facade of unity is gone. No matter how you look at it, there isn't any unity. And what we're witnessing is the violent unraveling of the regime's most powerful institution, because the CCP leaders believing he who controls the military, he who controls the gun, controls the regime. I know all of you are thinking, what does all of this mean to the safety of Taiwan? The way things have developed is beyond normal reasoning, but they made a lot of sense. Let's discuss Xi Jinping versus anti-Xi Jinping forces and their struggles over the Taiwan War, because this is eye-opening. On March 15th, on March 15th, there was an interesting article published by China's Ministry of State Security, MSS. And this article made people believe that the MSS has defected. The article's title is called "The Han Dynasty: Economic Rise and Fall and Lessons for National Security." It sounds very academic and it's about history, but the article actually stated that during the reign of Emperor Wu of Han Dynasty, repeated large-scale wars led to soaring military expenses and heavy fiscal burdens. The article concluded that reckless military adventurism would eventually lead to economic decline and social decay. What caught many people off guard was that the article echoed the views voiced by dissidents and pro-democracy individuals. Now, the MSS, under the control of a Xi Jinping loyalist, Chen Yixing, is considered a critical part of Xi's grip over the party. Known as the knife handle, the ministry isn't supposed to post opinion pieces, let alone ones that sound like anti-war manifestos. Observers wonder if Xi Jinping has lost so much political ground that even his MSS is now signaling allegiance to Xi's opponents and taking an anti-war stance. The answer is no. According to Professor Yuan Hongbin, MSS, let me show you his picture. Okay. According to Professor Yuan Hongbin, MSS article was the direct result of Xi Jinping's struggle with the Red Princelings over the war against Taiwan. Now, 2 days before the article was published, on March 13th, something major happened across the strait, if you still remember. On March 13th, Taiwan's President William Lai called the CCP a hostile foreign regime. He also rolled out a 17-point national security strategy aimed directly at the CCP's threats. Lai made it crystal clear to the world: the biggest threat to Taiwan's freedom is the Chinese Communist Party. And he wasn't just talking about missiles, he was talking about CCP's infiltration, subversion, espionage, and the whole authoritarian playbook. Lai's statement was unprecedented. For the first time, a Taiwanese president, in his official capacity, directly told the world that the PRC under the CCP is a hostile foreign power threatening Taiwan. Since Taiwan's democratization, no Taiwanese leader had ever openly told his people that the regime committed to destroy Taiwan's democratic way of life is the regime on the mainland. Lai is the first sitting president to clearly name the CCP as the root of Taiwan's national security crisis. And according to Professor Yuan Hongbin, this caused a great shock within China. He said it's a greater shock within China than anywhere else in the world. And this shock isn't among the general public in China, of course, since their access to information is restricted. The real shock came within the CCP system. According to Professor Yuan, after Lai's declaration, many CCP officials were shocked. And a group of Red Princelings close to Deng Xiaoping's son, Deng Pufang, held a private gathering. They concluded that the time had come to pressure Xi Jinping into responding militarily to William Lai. And so this is what Mr. Yuan said. He said, they pushed Xi to act because they've realized that without external conflict, it's impossible to dismantle the powerful spy apparatus that Xi Jinping has built. So their view is that Xi Jinping must respond with force. He must show, it must be a military show of power. But here's the twist. They didn't want a war to defend China. They wanted one to bring Xi Jinping down. Why? Because in peacetime, they figure that Xi Jinping's sprawling surveillance apparatus is too overwhelming. And his personal loyalists control the police and the spy agencies. So there's no way for them to unseat him without chaos. Yuan said that since the 19th Party Congress, these princelings have harbored intense dissatisfaction and even hatred toward Xi Jinping. And their consensus now is, let Xi Jinping attack Taiwan. The moment he starts a war, his own dictatorship will be pushed to the brink of collapse. However, the princeling's secret gathering was quickly reported to Xi Jinping by his spy chief. In response, Xi Jinping ordered the spy chief, the head of MSS, Chen Yixing, to rush out an article overnight. This is where that Han Dynasty article, which I mentioned earlier, came from. Xi Jinping's intended subtext of that article is clear. No, I will not respond to William Lai with war. Not now. I'm focused on the economy. But having the MSS release such a message isn't just PR, it's a warning for the Red Princelings. If you don't behave yourself, or if you don't behave yourselves, we'll come for you through national security charges, treason, and espionage. The MSS will be the tool to take you down. But here's the kicker. That message, even if ordered by Xi, may now be backfiring. Why? Because it came from the spy agency, not the propaganda department. And in China's political system, that's highly unusual. So it looks like the Ministry of State Security, Xi Jinping's own knife hand, is siding with the opposition, or at least signaling cracks in the system. It has already caused great confusion as people are openly saying the MSS is now opposing Xi Jinping. Now you see how, now you understand what a big mess the CCP regime is in. However, the CCP in a chaotic state means greater dangers to us. That brings us to the next subject, which is why we're saying the PLA is ever more dangerous. Now, think about it. The anti-Xi forces are pro-war. They believe that their only chance to take Xi down is through war. They believe a war will empower them with real authority, right? The war will provide them with real weapons. Xi Jinping, on the other hand, is anti-war, for he understands what his opposition is trying to do. So I'm afraid this leaves the Taiwan Strait in a particular precarious situation because the anti-Xi forces are the majority. They are, or they were the silent majority, but are now becoming more vocal. I'm afraid they have been purposely engaging in offensive moves to provoke a war. Even if they don't start a war, they want to create geopolitical challenges for Xi Jinping. And this explains why we've witnessed so many provocations lately, right? The above information that Professor Yuan provided, in my opinion, is extremely important in helping us understand the reckless behavior of the PLA lately. So, for example, in February, the Chinese Coastal Guard ships and a PLA Navy helicopter harassed Filipino fishing vessels in the South China Sea. And there has been an escalation of provocative military activities around Taiwan. And a PLA Navy frigate conducted unprecedented live fire exercises in the Tasman Sea between Australia and New Zealand in February, causing 49 commercial flights to be rerouted. And also, there has been increased military and cyber threats to the United States. These incidents reflect a pattern of aggressive behavior by the Chinese military. For a long while, we've been wondering why, on the one hand, we've witnessing Xi Jinping's grip or power in the military waning or declining, decreasing. But on the other hand, we've witnessed um, more egregious behavior by the PLA. I mean, we're trying to match the two. But now I think Professor Yuan's insight offered a perfect explanation to that. So these aggressive actions are being carried out by the anti-Xi forces within the military to cause diplomatic chaos for Xi Jinping and to corner him into provoking a war. And their real objective is of course, to take down Xi Jinping during time of chaos and war. 3 days ago, the South China Morning Post reported on China's development of a deep sea device capable of cutting undersea cables. I don't know if you've read that. The article detailed that this device can operate at depth up to 4,000 meters and is designed to sever undersea communication cables, allowing Beijing to disrupt global communications. When I saw the article, I was trying to understand the motives behind such disclosure because it didn't make sense. After learning Professor Yuan's insight, it made total sense to me. Now, South China Morning Post had been controlled by the Jiang Zemin faction of formidable anti-Xi forces. So this article is clearly orchestrated by the anti-Xi faction. They might even be behind the recent incidents where Chinese vessels have been implicated in undersea cable disruptions, because there have been quite a number of them. Now, Admiral Miao Hua was taken down for famously saying in private that Xi Jinping's Taiwan military operations would be the perfect chance for them to challenge Xi Jinping's authority. Think about it. Could the commander of the Rocket Force, whom Admiral Miao Hua promoted, and the commander of the Eastern Theater Command, whom Miao also promoted because he was the head of HR, is it possible that these generals share the same view? The conspiracy to take Xi Jinping down during a Taiwan military operation is precisely the reason why a large number of generals are purged. After all, if you really think about it, pro-war generals outnumber anti-war generals in the PLA. In fact, I don't think there's any PLA generals who were openly anti-war, right? Therefore, they're all paying a price now. And that's why the PLA is in total chaos. And for that reason, I think even though Xi Jinping has lost power over the military, but the Chinese PLA is getting ever more dangerous because his opposition is trying to take him down through military operations. So with that, I wrap up my talk. And let me see if people think this makes sense. All right. I'm trying to celebrate the arrival of spring with this cheerful sweater. I don't know if it's fitting for the subject tonight, but all right, let me see. Let me see what people have if people have questions for me, because I'm really because that question has really on my mind for a long time. I know all of you have this question. We've been talking about all the signs showing Xi Jinping's power in the military waning, or he's losing power. But then on the other hand, the PLA is getting ever more aggressive. And we say, how do we explain this? And I think now we have an explanation. It may not be the only explanation, but it's one of the explanations, at least in my opinion. All right, let me see what people think. Okay. Beautiful shirt. Okay, good. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. All right. Yeah, many people say the last trip he made to Guizhou and Yunnan was his farewell trip, you know, because I mean he's taking the officials with him, but these officials are also are rumored on their way out, like Fang Yongxiang. There was even a rumor, I don't know if you've heard about this, that while in Guizhou, while meeting with the local officials, she reportedly made a comment about him possibly retiring at the fourth upcoming plenum. So I think what he said was, he said, at the 20th Party Congress, me and then the central leadership have assembled like a continuity plan uh, for power transition. And then he said, even if I retire due to health problem, there will be continuity. That's people. He allegedly said that in Guizhou. Of course, we can't verify that, but those who disclosed this said that it was dead silence after he made that remark. Nobody said anything. So it was possible. It was possible. It was his farewell tour. And also, people say that the more people look at it, you know, the more people will believe that at the fourth upcoming plenum, which supposedly will happen in the summer, that there will be some kind of announcement that Xi Jinping will step down. So we're now in March, at the end of March, July. I think they said the meeting will be in July. July is what, 3.5 months away? So yeah. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. No questions for me. That's good. Someone say, is she CIA? All right. All right. No question. No comments. People are speechless. People are stunned. Okay. All right. Absolutely no questions. Good. Oh, here's a VK travel log. Good evening, Princess Lei. Well, thank you, VK. Thank you. Oh, here's one from Manny Kyla. What kind of relationship CCP has with North Korea? Um, it's very complex. What kind of relationship CCP has with the North Korea? They don't trust each other. I think, did I talk about that? The CCP during Hu Jintao's time, um, the the Kim Jong Un's uncle visited China and was talking to the Chinese leader about supporting Kim Jong Un's brother, I think half brother, who the uncle believes can be a backup plan for North Korea. But that conversation was disclosed by Zhou Yongkang, the former spy chief, to Kim Jong Un, and he brutally murdered his uncle and his brother. And then the relation between China and South Korea soured. I think Kim Jong Un trusted Putin more than Xi Jinping, or trusts Putin more than Xi Jinping. But then they rely on China's financial support. So it's always a relationship of convenience. Okay, here's a question from Lao Yan. Have you read Voice for the Voiceless? Over 7 decades of struggle with China for my land and my people. Uh, Voice for the Voiceless, over 7. No, I have not. Yeah, I have not read the book. But thank you for mentioning it. I'll check it out. Oh, here's a question from Scott D. What chance that the CCP leadership would allow more freedom to the Chinese people? No chance. The CCP leadership is only concerned with the security of its regime. It has no concern for the people. Even when Deng Xiaoping opened up China and adopted a reform policy, it was not because he wanted Chinese people to live more affluently. It was because the regime would go bankrupt if they didn't, allow market or some forms of market economy to take to be introduced to China. It was not because um, they kept people's interest in their mind. It was because they're more concerned with the longevity of the regime. My question is, why do you think they can win against Taiwan? Why do I think they can win against Taiwan? It's because of their infiltration, subversion, subversive activities. Well, what happened? What happened? The signal is really bad. Um, can you guys hear me? I just lost signal. Okay, here we come back. I'm sorry. I just yeah. It's because CCP is not strong militarily, but it's it's a master of deceit. It knows how to manipulate people, how to engage in unrestricted warfare. Its focus has always been taken Taiwan from within, and unfortunately, uh, all the time before William Lai took office, the Taiwanese government has not really implemented effective measures to prevent CCP's infiltration in the Taiwanese government. I mean, not only government, society. Unfortunately, CCP's influence in Taiwan society is very pervasive. It's very, particularly among the elite. Yeah. So that gives the CCP confidence to win. Jana Bergvan. Thank you, Jana. All right. I want to thank the people for their super stickers. Okay, that seems to be all. All right, that's it. Is that all? Okay. All right, that's all. That's all for tonight. I think the signal isn't doing very well. Am I okay? The video has freezed a little bit. Yes, you can hear me. Okay. All right, that's all for tonight. I'll see you on Thursday. All right, stay well, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.